Last week I drove an Aston Martin DBX 707. It's a ridiculous SUV that costs a lot of money. I know that, and I got one comment on that video suggesting I should show you guys a few more affordable options. So here we are. Behind me is a 2008 Range Rover, but it's the top dog. It's the Supercharged model. When I was a kid growing up in the mid-2000s, there were a few options that I saw constantly on TV in this category. The G55 AMG, the Cayenne Turbo, and this. I saw them largely in part because they were used as objects of vanity in pop culture on reality TV shows. So imprinted in my mind for the last 20 years has been this L322 generation of Range Rover. I've never driven one. Brand new, they cost just under $100,000 USD, but now you can get them in some cases for under $5,000. To me, there has to be a reason for that. But if you're in the market for a vehicle that covers all your off-road capabilities, but also your daily driver duties, this might be the one to get. So even in 2008, Range Rover was not using an advanced key. There's a lot of tech going on here, a lot of capability, but the key is just a normal kind of flip out key similar to what some VWs would have. And a lot of you are probably thinking like, I don't want all this tech, it's going to break, and that's why these are so cheap. Well, here you are, a simple mechanical key that doesn't flip out. So that's the first trick. It's so funny because I drove a JDM import, a Lexus LS700H, I believe, that was only ever sold in Japan, and it had a key card back, I believe it was the same year in 08. It's besides the point. Before we drive, this car that I'm driving is for sale. I don't usually drive dealership cars, but here's an exception. It's available in Richmond here in BC at 500 plus. They have a German name too. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce it, so the links are in the description. This one is currently for sale, $15,800 Canadian, or just over 11,000 USD. Like I said, it's a 2008 model, so it's the pre-5 liter update. This underneath the hood has a 4.2 liter Jaguar V8, or Jaguar, depending where you are in the world. Of course, it's supercharged. It makes 400 horsepower, 420 pound-feet of torque, and it was the most powerful Range Rover you could get at the time. There are so many good things the L322 has going for it. The first is just how these things look. Maybe not an iconic shape. The original Range Rover and the second gen definitely keep that shape a little bit more true to form, but these are so good to look at. It is funny though, because these are from the mid-2000s and a lot of that kind of cheesy tuning culture was happening around this time. Look at the headlights, the taillights, they look like aftermarket pieces in some weird way. So this is such a kind of nostalgic play for me too, if I were in the market for one of these, and I'm sure for a lot of you guys it is too. My question is, has this held up? And first impressions, absolutely. This one has 165,000 kilometers on it. The engine, super smooth. All right, no sport mode, but brake boost and go. Oh, that's a lot of torque. All right, the 1-2 upshift takes a second. Wow, above 5,000 RPM. This thing pulls. It's just the flattest of flat torque curves, the most utilitarian power band. That's a lot of supercharger whine, actually. Long gears. So in the early years when these came out, I believe around 2006, they had a BMW 4.4 liter V8 and a 5-speed auto. So this one has the 6-speed ZF auto, right? So it's got 6 gears, but still super long gears. And the tach only revs to 6,000 RPM. So it's all torque. Gotta be honest, it's not as quick as I thought it was gonna be. This is, of course, before they brought in the aluminum monocoque for the next generation, the real, what you would expect, or what you would picture a modern Range Rover to look like. This is before that, so a lot of steel construction going on here. It's not a traditional body on frame. Is it fast? No. These do 0 to 60 in the low 6s. It's quick. It's definitely quick, but this is not a light vehicle. It's not the quickest to downshift, but when it does, it's really smooth. On the way over here, on the freeway, I mean, the kickdowns are smooth, the upshifts are incredibly smooth, and it's just very, very quiet. Yeah, it didn't even downshift. Foot to the floor at, what was that? Just below 50 miles an hour, and it's just using the torque. Now, I don't know if that's an aging gearbox problem with the electronics and the tuning, or if that's just what it does. I'm happy either way. Yeah, just a little bit of throttle and you get so much torque. That's the best. I'm sure if you put a pulley on one of these too, the supercharger whine would just get just a little bit louder. There were a lot of other SUVs at this time producing a similar product with similar goals, in that this can appeal to two different buyers like it did when it was new, right? If you're looking for an off-road capable SUV, but you don't want to sacrifice the on-road comfort, then this might be a choice. But on the flip side, if you want a super comfortable daily driver that just so happens to be incredibly capable off-road, just in case you're able to go do that, then this should fill both of those things. But is it compromised in either of those? I mean, as far as on-road comfort, we'll start there. Unfortunately, we're not doing any off-roading today, but so good. The first thing I noticed, the steering is like, it doesn't have a dead spot on center, but it is so dainty and so incredibly light on center. Oh, and the body roll is, wow, that's, I was expecting that, but not to this level. So yeah, steering's really good, but it's a truck ratio. You have to put in so much steering input to get any kind of response from the vehicle. All the little stuff's ironed out. It feels really comfortable, really good. Dare I say, very close to most modern luxury sedans. It's just when you hit a big bump, yeah, it starts to feel solid. You know, you begin to rub up against, not bump stops, it gets a little bit stiffer when that happens, but you just feel like underneath you have something solid that you're driving on. Here's a speed bump. Oh, and then it just kind of floats over afterwards. Body control is not, that's frightening, not a strong suit. These seats are awesome. There's a lot of creaking going on. So some of the luxury has begun to wear off, but despite that, there's no kind of sticky buttons you would find in a Ferrari of the time. The interior is held up so nice. I mean, the dash is not cracked at all. Brilliant. There's one little tear on the seat. That's it. Everything's held up amazing. And for all of you complaining about touchscreens in new cars, this has every physical button you could imagine. I mean, there's so much going on down here. The one thing it does not have, which I'm surprised about, is a phone, a keypad for a phone, like an in-car phone. What it does have, though, is in the center console here. Oh yeah, you press it to get it up. We have, there's a remote control, I'm assuming for either the CD player, the disc changer, or the DVD player for the back. Yeah, video mode. All right, so that's fun. It's gotta be one of the earliest cars with an electronic e-brake. And it's just got this solid quality about it. I mean, okay, these handles are less than perfect. They're showing a little bit of age, but just the way, oh, the door closes. It is almost the way to a G-Wagon door slam. It's not there, but it is so close. Not only that, but here's something I just noticed. You guys are not gonna be able to see this, but it has a heated windshield. Wild, that is so crazy. The headliner is doing actually fairly well. There's no sagging, but you can tell it's separated just in a couple of spots. But you guys, on the off-road side of things, locking center differential, locking rear differential, it's got air suspension. That's about it. A 2-speed transfer case too. So as far as off-roading goes, you stick some big knobby tires on this thing, you should be good to go. I mean, if I had one of these, I would just have 2 sets of wheels and tires, one for off-roading, one for daily driving, one for the valet. No, I would not let a valet drive this car. Absolutely not. Although, if something happened when the valet was driving, then you could blame the valet, and that would be an excuse to get money for your repairs that are absolutely inevitable. So I hadn't thought of that. Maybe a good strategy. Yeah. Now, the obvious hurdles you have to jump over in your mind mentally before you buy one of these is, of course, asking questions about reliability, right? So apparently the later post-update after 2010 engines, they went direct injection. So apparently those have a tendency to cause more problems. They also had a bunch of coolant hoses apparently that were made of plastic and had a tendency to become brittle over time and just dump coolant. And then, hey, if you're not looking at your temp gauge, all of a sudden you're on the side of the road and you're a Range Rover cliche. Another statistic, right? There's that. I don't know exactly the problem issues with the engine. What I do know, of course, is the air suspension. Air suspension in any car from this era is bound to give you problems. It's not if, it's when. And it's more so that the parts have a tendency to be a little bit more expensive than a fixed suspension setup in a Japanese car or an American car. On a side note, you could get a Yukon Denali if you don't want to deal with reliability issues. Although, you will not have this interior, that's for sure. The only thing wrong with this one is the AC needs to be recharged. From what I can tell, the cooled seats work, the heated seats work, the infotainment works. The whole idea here, the whole product pitch, which I love, this is what brand is all about when it's executed successfully, is just ease of use, right? The steering, the amount of input you have to put in the steering is not, it's not very easy, but the lightness of the steering and that ease of use carried to the off-road controls. So for those locking diffs, I can't control them. The only things I can control down here are my terrain modes for rock crawling, sand, or whatever kind of terrain I'm on, of course. And then you have your air suspension. I can raise and lower it if I need. And then, of course, I have my 2-speed transfer case, 4 high, 4 low. Other than that, if I put it in rock crawl, I'm just hands-off assuming that it's going to know when to lock that center diff, when to lock the rear diff, and maybe it'll give me some lights on the dash, I'm not sure, or if I hit this 4x4 information mode up here, perhaps it'll give me some information, but aside from that, I'm just along for the ride. And, you know, judging by what people have said on the internet about these and how capable they actually are, all of your favorite British automotive journalists own them and rave about them, you'd expect it to just do its job and not make too much of a fuss about it. There is also something about going up a trail in front of or behind a 4Runner or an original Land Cruiser or something like that and just being like, oh, I've got cooled seats on right now, I've got heated seats, I've got navigation, I've got a 6-disc CD changer, I've got TVs in the back, you could hook up a PlayStation. It's so comical, it's so ridiculous. Even today, the one thing that would make this feel so much more modern would be a smaller, maybe not a smaller diameter steering wheel, but just a quicker steering rack. And then maybe there's an option out here you guys know about that I don't, for a fixed suspension setup in the aftermarket, just to get rid of the air suspension and eliminate that as a potential future problem. That would be cool. And then this is where the other corner of my mind goes. So a few years ago, maybe you guys remember, I drove a single turbo LS swapped Jag XJ. It was a long wheelbase Vanden Plus version, right? And this same supercharged 4.2 liter V8 was in a number of Jag products at the time. So, I mean, it probably would not be nearly as easy in a car with a center diff, but could you not just LS swap one of these or do something to make it more reliable, but still retain all the luxury and comfort, the locking diffs, all the capability and do it that way. To me, that would be the way. It does also have a bunch of little features that probably won't break. It's got windshield washers up there. It's got parking sensors front and rear. It's got a backup camera, which is pretty cool. The quality is terrible. It's, you know, what you would expect from 2008. Imagine a cell phone camera from 2008. That's essentially what you're looking at. It's got lights, puddle lights under the mirrors. I didn't check to see if those work, but that's awesome regardless. In the back seat, you've got cup holders, of course, extra little storage bins. You've also got separate reading lights. It's got so much headroom, just gobs of headroom. And then in the back, you've got the split tailgate. And there's one part about it, the carpeting that's on that split tailgate that tells you that first and foremost, a lot of people that Range Rover was selling these to cared more about the luxury side of things. And if you're buying one of these in the used market, I think it's the opposite. I think what stands out here, if you're willing to deal with these electric gremlins, if you're okay if some of these little things break and don't work over time, it's taking this off-road in such a comfortable environment would just be the best. And if I were to buy one of these, that's what I would buy it for. Only if I couldn't afford a G-Wagon. And that's where I will leave you guys. The G55, of course, has the M113K, a much more reliable engine from what I've heard under the hood, but those are going for, same year, 08, almost double, actually more than double in a lot of cases. They're holding value incredibly, and I guess that's just the G-Wagon way. So the G55 does have 3 manually lockable differentials versus the 2 auto lockers we have here. But there's something intangible about the G-Class that seems to have permeated the market so much to make it worth 5 times the price. But if you only plan to go rock crawling for the gram or intend to corner harder than a San Francisco street car, may I suggest a Cayenne Turbo or ML63 AMG instead. I love this thing. My verdict would be proceed with caution. All of these like old school used European luxury vehicles, that's what I would say. My personal opinion, I love the way this thing drives as a daily, just a lazy kind of luxury car, and I would love to take it off-road because everything I've heard has been amazing. We'll see you next time.